Cool. So we were the narratives in virtual space group, and sort of right from the off, I was kind of curious about implementing some of the location-based narrative stuff that Charlie and Co have done over the last couple of WAISFests, and implementing that into virtual spaces like Minecraft. So we came up with Yarncraft, which is a nice logo that Johnny sort of knocked up in the last 2 minutes. So our goals to start with were, mine were a bit less focused. I was sort of happy to sort of have a hack around and see sort of how easy it was to do things and sort of how we could sort of build stuff up. But Johnny, we had a bit of a chat. We came up with some nice ideas. Johnny liked the idea of making this sort of very generalisable, so we could take the format that Charlie's been using for the past couple of years, which admittedly is in the process of being rewritten a little bit, but could we take that format and then apply that to different virtual spaces? So even though we've used it in Minecraft, could we then keep that same format and apply it to a different virtual space like Second Life or Grand Theft Auto or something like that? So you can take one story and view it in a number of different environments. The other main thing was we wanted to, again, I was sort of interested in the idea of adapting the narrative to the world around it, but Johnny pointed out that because we've got control of the virtual space, we can adapt the world to the story. So, again, two separate approaches. You can take a story and create a whole new world and go and explore that world with the story, or alternatively, you can have that story, take it into a world that you've sort of been playing with for like some time, and then sort of explore your world with a new context. So if the story says, go to the desert, you can say, I know there's a desert over here, I'll head in that direction. So we've got a little test story lined up that's one that Charlie wrote last year. And take it away, Johnny. Do you want to talk us through what's going on?
Yeah, sure. So when you join the game, it tells you that the story, I have to get the way I can't say, you've got one screen. It tells you that the story begins inside a minecart, so I can run over this minecart. Obviously the original story didn't start in a minecart, because minecarts aren't as common in the real world, but it started in a car, so we changed it. So we jump in the minecart and it tells us to get out. So once we get out of that, it starts the story. And this is really long, so I'm not going to read through all of it, but you'll notice that the world has changed there to match the story. There we go, awesome. And it tells us that the next things we can do is we can head indoors and we can go somewhere green. So we will head in this nice building over here. And as we go in, it recognises that we're indoors and gives us another piece of story. Essentially, we're looking for somebody, so we head into this building and we want to go to the reception desk to see if somebody is there, so we walk over to that, and our story changes again. And the guy we look for isn't there, so we want to go back outside. So we turn around, and now it's all nice and bright. Oh wait, it's not. Doesn't matter. It should be bright. Just pretend it's not visiting anymore. And then we've got another choice. So we can either go near the water, which is over here, or to where people gather. Now, the way we've specified these things, we haven't said specific locations, because that's obviously not general. We've said things like when you're in the region of water, when you're in the region of, when you're indoors, when it's dark, when it's wet, that sort of thing. So we'll head over to a place where people gather, over the square over here. So one of the things Tom mentioned that we talked about is we like the idea of the world changing to match the story, which you can't do in real life, but you can do in virtual worlds. So that's why this goes a little bit mental in a sec when we step in here. And the idea is he's wandering towards this square, and suddenly he notices that there's lots of people around him, and there's a lot of people. So that's essentially it. I can go near that. No, okay, this is kind of crazy. Let's jump out. There we go. So yeah, ignore all the very, very clones. So what we managed to achieve was we took the format that. I'll get this off the screen now. Wait a moment. We took the. I did, too many people. We took the format that Charlie used previously, which is this, and it has locations such as a location where you are riding something, which in this case is the minecart, locations where you aren't riding things, locations where it's raining, and so on. So in theory we could take this out and then reapply it to a different virtual world, like, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto or something, and say the same story in different places. You can also take things from the real world and pattern there, play the real world. Yeah, do you want to wrap up?
Yeah, so there are a couple of challenges we sort of face, one being that the Minecraft API either doesn't exist or is terrible, depending on whether you're talking about the official one or some of the modding ones. But other than that, sort of once we worked our way through it, it all sort of actually turned out quite nicely. We managed to sort of get a very nice layered approach. First, we just got it printing stuff out to the screen, and then we could sort of layer on all the bells and whistles time after time. And there's still quite a lot of scope for adding extra events or triggers, or for making them slightly more general in future so we can apply them slightly easier to different games. But overall, I think the project went really nicely. Thanks.